with technology. Anyway, guys, welcome on board for tonight's live stream. Hopefully you're seeing this. I haven't got it on my computer yet, so there must be a bit of a delay with what's going on. But anyway, let's crack on. Yes, we're up and running. Brilliant. Right. Thanks to those who are joining us tonight. We are going to be doing more work on Minas Tirith, and we'll be looking to hopefully get some foam down on our base tonight and start building up the layers. That's what we're aiming to do today. Apologies that I haven't managed to get it horizontal today. I looked up a tutorial. It said set it up before you go live. I did that and it hasn't worked again. It's told me I need to flip it to vertical. So if anybody out there is a techno whiz and you can give me some pointers in the chat, please do. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's crack on because we have no time to waste. So we've got templates from last week. We'll be working with those this week. I have managed to get a hot wire cutter off my friend Phil. So we will, what are we going to do with those? We're hopefully going to cut some foam. So first things first, I've got a decision to make, and I'm sure you guys can help me with this. I want to put down a sheet really inside the walls, and I haven't measured out a circle for this yet. In fact, let's just hold that up there again. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, I want this the whole circle essentially to have foam on it. And then from there, that will give me something to sort of put the walls against and give it a bit of support. So I think I'm gonna try do that first. It's gonna be a bit challenging because the piece of foam I've got to work with is a brand new piece of foam, and therefore it's huge, way bigger than actually what I want. So I think what I might do is cut this down a little bit because I can't actually see the bit of board. So let's do a quick bit of cutting. We'll get this roughly to the size we want it. This is the problem with working live. Right. Right, I'm going to cut this off camera because otherwise we will have an accident. This is one of the problems with the vertical horizontal, and it really frustrates me that we're having to once again for a second week in a row go vertical instead of horizontal, but it is what it is. And we will do this is 2 sheets that I'm cutting. That's why it's so thick. Well, that was a stupid thing on my part. Right. Well, that's split. Yes. I was really confused because I could have sworn that this was a thinner bit of card, a thinner bit of foam, and I was in fact right, but I had 2 pieces stuck together. I'm trying not to cut myself in the groin. Perfect. Right. So here we go. We have a thinner bit of card, thinner bit of foam. The trick now is going to be cutting this to the right size. I probably should have done a template of this. I have been a bit silly here. Right. That's that. And that's that. Anyway, enough of me sort of talking about how rubbish I am. Oh, Tracy, you messaged and then you retract your message. So thank you for your message. And shame we can't see it. we've got 3 people watching. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. How are you guys all doing tonight? Have you been up to anything particular? In the UK, it's certainly in Hampshire. It's half term this week, which is a week off for the kids at school. I have got a little bit of time off. In fact, actually, to be fair, we had the bank holiday on Monday where I was reenacting, which was brilliant. Very tempted to do a video at some point where you guys get to see a little bit of my reenactment, just because it's so fun. And actually, I bet quite a few of you would be interested from a historical point of view. Right, let's get the ruler out. Try to work out the best way of doing this instead of me floundering. Right, I think that is that line there, and I think this one is going to be this one over here. I think it's time for a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Put your answers in the comments. Let me know what you think, what you do. So, first question is, what drink do you like drinking when watching a live stream? Answers in the comments. Let's see what you can come up with. Okay. I personally have orange squash tonight. For those who are not familiar with what orange squash is, it is essentially like it's a concentrate which you dilute with water, and that actually that's brilliant. That actually goes through, and then that makes you quite a refreshing drink. Look at that. That is going through brilliantly. Right, so I'm gonna assume that that's the middle. That's the outside of the first ring. So if you can't see on camera right now, I've got the biggest template that I've got that I did last week. I've got that underneath the foam, and because the foam is only 3mm thick, I'm actually able to see through it, of which I'm roughly drawing that circle to give me a rough idea where I'm aiming. It's not going to massively help because it's only the next circle. What I'm hoping I can do is work out the difference between the big circle and that circle, because it should be the same, and it is about 44mm. So I think if I work out 44mm, that is there. And then if I draw 44mm over here, that should be there. I also need to work out here where those lines are. I wonder if I would have darkened these lines with black ink, which of course I don't have to hand. Oh, sorry, camera. That was my fault trying to get in. Yes, I've got a fine liner. Let's see if these work. That's 2 fine liners. Right. How we do? Well, we've got 2 likes. Appreciate that. We've got 2 people watching at the moment, so that's really good. Appreciate it. Right, I'm going to try to work out. I think this was the line I wanted here, wasn't it? So that's going to carry around more. So this bit here. And we're going to go. The wall's going to carry around there. Is it going to carry around there? This is the tricky bit, really. This is the tricky bit because I don't know. I really don't know how the rock work. keep coming back to the model. Apologies, it's taken a while to work out, but essentially I'm trying to work it out. The angle at which that looks quite wide to me. Imagine that. Yeah, I think I might. There we go. I think I might come out here, but basically bringing this bit in. Doing that, or are we doing that bit there? Oh, I don't know. Actually, we're going to go that bit there. Let's go there, and then we can come in here. You can tell I've been planning this really well because I had this all mapped out in my head last week, and now it's back to the drawing board again. Right, let's do a little recap where we're at to. So we are currently, I'm just marking these in black with the hope that when I put the foam on top, it's going to show through. And so far, not sure whether it's my eyes playing tricks or whether I can actually see it, but I can't see it. Let's keep going on this. This has got to work. As if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to come up with another plan. The other plan would be to scrap this idea and just put the foam onto the base, but I'd rather put some foam down. As I say, it's going to act then as something, a small enough lip that I can then stick the wall, the external wall, to the lip essentially. If I can get that in place, that will make when I put the walls on much easier. Now, the one thing YouTube doesn't tell me, it does tell me quite a lot about the live stream, but it doesn't tell me who's watching and where they're from. So, as my question about drinks didn't go very well, didn't get much response, let me know who you are and where you're watching from tonight. Are you all based in the UK, or are you guys from elsewhere? Maybe Europe? I just don't think anybody from the US will be watching yet, so let me know if I'm wrong. I just think it might be a bit too early in the day. Let's think 5 hours ahead if you're on, 5 hours behind if you're on the East Coast. So that is going to be 3 p.m, 3:15 in the afternoon. So most likely going to be at work, which is absolutely understandable. I was at 3:15 at work. Right. Let's see what we've got. Oh, come on. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Clearly, the blue paper was a much better idea, because that has gone through so much easier, having the blue paper there. I really don't want to start building templates again, but it's the only way I can see. This does now look to me like the source section of the Enterprise, I have to say. I'm kind of excited by that. Right, okay, how am I going to do this? Do I get the blue paper back out? Where did I put that scrap? I haven't really got enough on there. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. What's slightly concerning is I'm having this much issues and I haven't even got the hot wire cutter out yet, so I'll stand by for some fun on that one. Right, let's see. Right, is that there? No, that's there. Oh, no, it is there. It is. Right, okay, that line there. Let's just do a rough shape like that. And then let's do a rough shape like that and see where we come up to. Yeah, I think it curves in a little bit, but yeah. Okay, we can make that adjustment in a minute. Right, what am I using? I am scissorless, so let's use the old scalpel. Hopefully this sort of slow progress is very familiar to a lot of you if you're wargamers. I don't know about you, I find my terrain projects always take long. If it goes quickly, I start to worry I've done something wrong. I mean, usually that's because I have done something wrong. But there we go. There we go. Right. All right, perfect. Let's give that a go. We'll see if that works. Right, let's put that over there. Right, okay, so how are we getting on here? We are not too far off. That needs a little bit of a trim, I think. Right, happy with that. That looks good. Right. Let's just pop that up there for a second. Let's get the old ruler out. Let's just give this a little bit of a trim. Now, I haven't had any feedback from last week's live stream, whether you guys enjoyed it or whether you didn't enjoy it. Should I keep going? Should I make Minas Tirith a regular weekly update, or should I forget it? Should I do something else with my life? Answers on a postcard. That would be good. Right, here we go. That is better. Okay, that will do there, and then this will go like that. So that's good. We're doing well. We've got a little bit. So the next bit is these side pieces, because that is center. Center line there. There we go. That's that. Oh no, that isn't that there. Where's that middle line? There it is. I don't know if you. Yeah, sorry. I'm doing that thing again because I think, oh, I need to get close to it to be able to make sure I'm doing it accurately, and then you guys can't actually see, which is a bit unfortunate. Right, that center line is nowhere. Well, my center point was fairly close to it. I'm going to give myself some points there. Right, okay. Let's have a quick drink. All right, who's going to be the first to put something in the chat? We've got 4 people watching now. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Let me know if this live stream is something you think I should keep doing, or whether I should just pack up and stop waffling. Come on. There we go. Right. There is a possibility that actually these aren't very good, but hopefully you're enjoying it and getting something out of it. And again, I apologize that this is not you're not getting a horizontal view. It is something that I deeply frustrated by, the fact that it doesn't seem to work as I watched the video and it said it should work if you do this thing, which is to set the, what do you call it, the orientation. Set the orientation before going live. So I did just that, and unfortunately it hasn't actually worked, which is really, really, really frustrating, because I did exactly what it said and it didn't do what it said it would do, which is just frustrating. Right, so I think I have measured out the first piece. I'm going to be bold and brave and make a cut, and we'll see whether this is going to work. Now, I do love cutting this 3mm foam because it's nice and thin. The knife works through it really, really easily. All right, let's cut that out. Perfect there. Let's get this bit cut out here. And the trick really is not to... I've got two cuts there. One, this round one, you can see is jagged. That's where I pulled it, not pulled. And then the other one, I've gone much lighter. Well, let's pull it over so you can actually see it. Yeah, so much lighter, and you can see it's a much smoother cut. So that's the trick. Blade more horizontal rather than vertical. That's one bit of trickery, and then the other is don't really like go to town on it. Just let it do the work. Let the blade do the work. Right, let's see. That is pretty close. Not as close as I want it, mind you. Okay. Well, that's a start for 10. If I can get this cut and we can get this, what is it we're trying to do with this? We are trying to, so if I can get this cut and glued down tonight, that'd be great. And then we'll get close to, start adding additional foam, because the additional foam essentially will allow us to build up the rock work. If we can build up the rock work, we can start, sorry, not the rock work, the layers going up. That's what I mean. So if we can start to put that in place, then that'll be really useful, because that will allow me to then build the walls off that, and they will support the walls. Oh, why do I do this to myself? Okay. This is very freehand at this point. Oh, I know what has happened since last week. I'm sure nobody really cares, but I've just realised I went out on my colleague's run ashore last Thursday, and that was after the live stream last week. So I survived it, as you can probably tell, hence why I'm here today. Had a fantastic night. Really, really good fun. It's sort of one of those things that you do and you think, why haven't I done this before? It's a really, really nice night out. Had a lot of fun. Really good to give my friend a good send-off. I drank far more than I thought I could. And actually didn't feel too bad the next morning. So that was really good as well. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you in case anybody remembers back and said, oh, you know, you were going out for drinks and leaving drinks. I did, and I survived. So that I'm taking as a win. Right, so we're coming around. What I've done here is just measured 44mm from the circle, and I'm hoping that that is going to pretty much bring it round and be where we want it to be. Yeah. Not sure if this is right. I really am worried about this now, because it is not quite as planned. It's like the side pieces aren't 44 away. But I can only imagine that. All right, that's going to do it. Yeah, okay. It's a bit flat on that side, which is concerning, as I just don't think it is that flat over there. Maybe I'm just going to come out slightly. Okay, right, let's start cutting. Let's go for it. We're going to commit here. Wish me luck, team. Let's cut. And if we take the advice that I gave you all of about 10 minutes ago, maybe not even that, maybe 5 minutes ago, we're just going to do some light strokes with a horizontal blade, as shallow as we can. We're going to let the knife do the work, little pressure on it, and hopefully that is going to give us a nice cut. Well, it's already feeling better than the other side, so that's good news. Yes, look at that. That is crisp. Happy with that. Now, let's do the quick test. See if we're lined up for where we want to be. Let's put that down there before I poke somebody. Yeah, actually. Interesting. Interesting. I think that is looking pretty good. So what we want to do now is some nice, gentle, light cuts. And I'm just going to come off here at an angle. We're just going to test. And just by taking off a little bit, I can have a little bit more of a test to see quite where we are with the position. And I think, yeah, we've come a bit short. We've come a bit thin there. So I'm trying to improve that. Yeah, I think we're... let's see what we can do with this. Okay, yep, we're sort of keeping it going. Right, okay, let's see what more we can get. What I really don't want is it to take a drastic turn and need to be miles inside the wall. Okay, this is looking promising. We might, dare I say it, we might be doing all right here. All right, let's. Yeah, we are pretty much bang on the money there. Yeah, I'm surprised at how well that's gone, considering how shambolic the planning was for this. But that has pretty much landed where I needed it to. Wow. Considering I'm doing this live, that is quite a feat. I've pulled one out of the hat there. That is an absolute winner. Right. So next job then is to glue this down. Now, the reason I thought I would do this on camera is because actually this can go horribly wrong quite quickly with the glue. Because we're gluing foam and we're going to put it onto ply. Ply is pretty good for warping because the layers stop it. But if I were to cover the whole of the underside of this foam with glue and stick it down, what would happen is it would, when the glue contracts, it would pull it in and you'd start to see some warping. Now, a little bit of warping the opposite way wouldn't be a bad thing because this is a little bit bowed. But what I'm planning to do instead to combat the warp, as it were, or the warping effect, is I plan to do sort of aerial, sort of probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 biggish dots of glue, and they're not going to be. In fact, I'm going to show you. Do I need any of that before I cover this up? I've got that for that bit. Do I need another bit for that bit? Let's do it, because if I don't do it now, it will be gone. So let's get another bit of blue paper, one that I think is going to fit it. Yeah, that piece is looking good. Right, okay. Little mark. Oh, hang on, where has it gone? No, that is not what it looked like. Right. Apologies, team. This is once again terrible planning by me. Because I should have been all over this. I should have known what I was doing, and I haven't. This is very much a build as we go. And I should be cutting on a cutting mat. Oh my goodness. So many things that I'm just really not doing well here. So learn from my mistakes, guys. Right. Work with smaller bits of paper. Generally, it's a lot easier. Right, let's move that out of the way. Let's get this back over here. There's just no easy way of actually doing this. Other than maybe some white paper. What I'm doing here is just lifting up, seeing where the line goes, trying to roughly replicate where I think. Okay, let's cut that out. Let's go for it. I don't know where I'm going with that. There we go. I'll prop it up against that camera leg. All right, how are we doing? 20 minutes. Right, I reckon we can get this done. And then I will talk about what I'm going to do next. And I might have some time on. Where am I going to have time on Friday? I don't know. Technically on holiday. So if I get some time on Friday, then I can absolutely, most certainly, make some progress on this and try and get a video out. See, the other problem is I'm going to stick this down in the live stream. Then I'm going to want to video a bit about doing the design, which means I'm not going to be able to do that. But anyway, it is okay. I thought a live stream might be a different way of doing this project, and hopefully you guys, as you tuned in today, are enjoying it. Hopefully you are along for the ride, seeing how I do this. I mean, there's nothing magical about it all. Right. Let's get dangerous, as Darkwing Duck would say. You might not remember who Darkwing Duck is, but it was a 90s TV program, certainly in America. And I believe you can watch it on Disney Channel. Okay, not really the shape completely. I think I've cut off that corner too soon, but you know what? It's better than nothing. So that's going to give me that. That's going to give me that. Let's stick this down. So going back to that gluing that I was talking about, we're going to do some largish dots. I am also going to do just a thin line of glue around the outside, around the edge, because what I want is for the edge to stick, because I do not want that coming up. So we're just essentially painting it on, painting the glue on. Perfect. Right, let's do another dot there. I've got one there. The trick is to work as quickly as possible before the glue dries. If I was really nervous about the warping, I could also put some small gaps in this line around the outside, just so that there's a bit of a break, so that it doesn't. Right. Okay. All right. Some more dots then. Let's go one. Small dots here. what I'll probably end up doing is getting some books or something and put it on top of this. One of the tricks, however, is not to put too much weight, because I've seen somebody do something similar and they put weights on the foam and the glue went through the foam and stuck to the cans. I think it was a model railway or something. And so essentially they had can shaped bits on the foam where the cans had stuck. So just be mindful of that one. Right. Okay, right. Let's chuck that in the water, which I haven't got any, so I'll need to sort that out. Right, let's get this stuck down. Up to that black line, and everything is looking hunky-dory. If needs be, I'll trim bits off, but that is looking good. And now it's just about pressure, getting the glue to stick to the wood. I think we are doing all right. That will give us a good firm base for Minas Tirith. Let's get a few bits here. Bit of that. Make sure that's on there. That's on there. That's on there. And that will give us a good start. Now, I had hoped. Sorry, I just need a drink. So I had hoped to start building up these layers here tonight, because once I've got them in place in terms of the foam and I've cut them to shape, I can start building the walls. In fact, I might not even build the walls first. I might build all the well, see, some of them I am going to need to build the walls, so I might build the walls in place and then build all the buildings and then build the towers, obviously leaving space for the towers, so I don't have buildings in the way. This piece here, this bit here is just, still not sure how I'm going to do that. I think it might be a piece of foam on its side going in towards it, and obviously probably stepped for the different levels, so it'll sort of be a step approach, if that makes sense, and that will then sit onto those layers. That's probably the best way to do it, and if I do that before I put these walls on, then we can build it in like rock work. So yeah, I think that's going to be what I'm going to do for that, and I will use my template to get the size of this bit that sticks out, and then I can go straight down. So yeah, you know what, dare I say it, I might actually have a plan here. Having built Helm's Deep, I sort of had a plan for that, probably no more than the plan I've got for Minas Tirith. It's going to be big. I'll be absolutely honest with you about that. It's going to be big, but I think that's kind of part of the spectacle of what I'm doing, and it certainly will look good on the table with all the armies out in front of it. So yeah, am I going to be able to do much more tonight? Probably not. I can just quickly talk about the type of foam that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this horrible packaging foam. I'm really hoping that the wire cutter goes through it well, and we get clean cuts. But I'm going to use this to create the layers. That is one of the thinner pieces, I think. Yeah, that's one of the thinner pieces. So essentially, I'm going to have how am I doing this? I think one thin level, two thin levels. So it's going to be a thick level, a thin level, a thick level, a thin level, a thick level, a thin level. So yeah, there's going to be quite a bit. What I will say is this thick level here is probably, I don't know quite how I'm going to do that yet, but I've got some ideas. So that hopefully that should give it some thickness. That's a thin layer. The thick layer is here, and you can see that's probably double the thickness, which is proportionally about right. So it'll sort of get stepped like this, which I think will look good. So we'll have one of these, then one of these, and then another one of these, and then another one of these, and that will give us the 4 layers. And then we're going to repeat that again to get up to the top piece. So if you can think like this times three lots of this stepping, and that will give you Minas Tirith. And obviously getting it to be circular is going to be key, which is why obviously what we did last week, which was make these templates. So once I've got the thick level, so what I'll probably do is cut out enough so that this I'll cut out enough so that I can do the bottom layer. I'll draw around this, I'll use the hot wire cutter, and then we'll stick it down. Hopefully that's what I'll be doing either this weekend, and if I can do that, then I will get a video out of it on Sunday. If I can't, and I haven't got any other plans for a video on Sunday, I want to get a video out on Sunday because I noticed without the Sunday video the views have dropped a bit, so we want to get those back up. So we'll do it. I'll try to get a video out this Sunday, and I'm hoping it's going to be Minas Tirith related because I really don't know what else I would do otherwise. But yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, any questions, throw them in the comments or the chat, whatever. And we're going well. Let's see, we've got about 12 minutes. Unless you guys have got any questions, I'm sort of a bit lost as to what more I can do at this stage. I need this to dry, and I don't know how long it's going to take to dry. It's feeling pretty dry, to be fair, right now. Do I give it a go? Do I give it a go? That is the question. Ow, that was silly. I'm really sorry because this light seems to be flickering, which is really annoying. Right, how much have I got of this stuff? That's the next question. I think I've got 2 sheets of this, so I need. That's my inner circle. That's that piece there. Let's do a bit of measuring here, team. Let's do a bit of measuring. Right, from there to there is 250 mil, roughly 250 mil. So that means I need 50 mil. And I have 50 mil. Brilliant. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go 30 mil. No. 260. And then 260. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. I'd love to say I've got a really good scalpel that's going to cut through it, and the answer is I do not. Yeah, it's about to get messy. Oh, I hate this bit. We got 9 minutes. I wonder how long the hot wire cutter takes to get warm. The other problem is I haven't used it before, so this would be completely learning on camera. What I don't want to do is A, burn myself, or B, not cut a straight line. I really need it to cut straight. The other problem is I think this is designed. I think it's designed to kind of cut around the outside. I don't think it will cut straight through like that. I think that's where you'd need like one of those tables with a hot wire that you just like push it through. So I think this is going to be the old-fashioned way, which means it's going to get messy. You can all point and laugh. You know I'm going to hate this. Right, let's get our workbench out of the way. Right. Oh, wunderbar, wunderbar. Right. Oh, that actually looks like a straight square cut. So I'm going to take that as a win. So the next question is not much mess either. There's some mess, definitely, but I'm absolutely taking that as a win. Right, let's see if we can get this other one. Let's do a nice cut first. Oh, it doesn't look very square. Oh, and it's bubbling. Oh, it's bubbling. I'm not talking about a pot of stew or a broth or anything like that. Oh, I hate these bubbles. You know what? This is possibly going to be the worst part of the whole process. Just going to put that out there now. Okay. Okay, that's close enough for government work. Right. Oh, the clear up is going to be bad. That's not too bad. I've had far worse, but right. Bit of spare foam there. Get all the excess bubbles off. I mean, this is why I hate this foam. It's absolutely horrific. I'm sure some people don't mind it, but I'd much rather work with the blue foam all day long. Problem is just getting hold of it, and then it doesn't have the thickness unless you go get particularly thick stuff, which is an option. But there we go. Right, 5 minutes to go. The next plan will be to put this on here. It's all going to start to get stuck. So my plan is that this will sit together, sit in line with the back, and from here I need to work out roughly where the blue bit is. So from the back line we're looking at 52 mil, I think. 52 mil. The bottom of the back, right? 52 mil in is roughly where I want. put a little black mark, see if that works. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Oh, there's all the phone bobbles. Should just call this episode Phone Bobbles. Never mind. We shall have a clean up later. Right. So that's going to sit there. That's going to sit there roughly. And then we are going to be ultra clever. Now, the best thing to do would be to get some pins and put some pins through this. But as that is far too easy, we're not going to do that. Oh, we might do that. Right. 3 minutes. Let me get some pins. Where are pins? Oh yeah, there they are. And we're back up to 4 viewers. Thank you very much. They obviously, hopefully, didn't think, oh, actually, he's going to be finishing soon. So we'll just dial in for the last bit, and then we don't have to put it up with him for too long. Right. Before you ask, I am taking some some sewing pins that you'd use to hold your sewing in place, and I am just basically holding these 2 bits of foam together with these pins. From there, I'm going to pin the template in place. Right, so that is that. Let's just do one here and one here. Hopefully that will hold it together. We'll also, just for luck, put one right on the end here. Cool. Now, next thing, we're going to put the template into place. We are just going to pop some pins in with the aim of making sure that the template doesn't move. Once the template's in place and not moving, I will then go around it with a black Sharpie. And upon completion, I will then save this next bit for the next either video on Sunday, which might be better because I think using the hot wire cutter for the first time is going to be a bit of an interesting learning curve, and I'd rather probably do that without the camera rolling. But anyway, the aim will be, once I've got this drawn, is I'll use the wire cutter to cut out this lovely circle, which I will then glue into place on the foam that we've already laid down. And if that all goes according to plan, then I will literally repeat the process for the next 4 levels. So there we have it, layer 1. Actually, I should also, because I'm thinking about it, I should also, that should, why is that lined up there? That, right, okay, I see. Okay. So how far in is that? Up there and that there. So that should then line up, of course, where I've put these pins. That's going to come out. Right, team, we're going to overrun by a few minutes. So if anybody needs to get off, get away, feel free to. I won't hold it against you. I am just going to... Ow, that's my hand I've just drawn on. Never mind. Brilliant. That gives me a template to cut out some bits for the rock work. Happy days. Right. Let's get this all unpinned. And we can I don't know whether to leave the two bits of foam pinned together for when I use the hot wire cutter. Do let me know in the comments if you've used a hot wire cutter before and what your experience is. Obviously, if it is better to leave them pinned, I will do that. If it is better to pull them apart and then cut separately, then I will also do that. Hopefully you can see that, but essentially we're going to be cutting out this piece here, right around here, all the way there, and that bit there. We'll leave this back piece and then this inner circle there. Wow, what a journey we are on. Minas Tirith is probably a couple more steps closer to completion. Feels like we're on the road to Mordor. It is a long, long road, but hopefully we shall get there in the end without taking 3+ hour films to do it. Although saying that, last week was an hour and this week's an hour, so we're already 2/3 through the Fellowship of the Ring. If you're watching, the Fellowship of the Ring is far more entertaining than this, but hopefully you're all enjoying it enough to keep watching. So thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. As I say, I'm going to try to get a video out on Sunday doing this next part here, so that next Wednesday, where I hope to do a live stream again. And again, let me know in the comments if you don't think that this is a good idea, if you'd rather just see videos, then do let me know. And if you do like live streams, let me know again, because I will keep going with them. And what I'll be doing is I will, in the video on Sunday, I will get this bit cut out, I'll get it glued down. Hopefully I'll do the next level, this height, and I'll find some pieces and I'll do exactly what I've just done here. And yeah, we'll layer it up, get the next layers done, to a point where we've got it stuck down and we can actually start working on the walls, which is massive. Like I'm not even sure how we've managed to get this far so quickly, because it doesn't feel very quick. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, because I am definitely rambling at this point. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. If you haven't watched this, or if you haven't checked out last week's episode, do check that out. I'll catch you on Sunday in the next video, and next Wednesday for the next live stream. And until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.